What's up guys, Maelstrom here. If you enjoyed, then like and subscribe and leave a comment for the next part so I can keep on making these awesome videos for you guys. Chapter 9, New Jutsus and a Test. Disclaimer: I don't own Naruto, so that means that I'm not Masashi Kishimoto. I didn't know I had anonymous reviews disabled. Problem resolved. Another chapter done. Minato arrived at Kakashi's house only to find his student knocked out in a puddle of his own blood and Naruto doing a victory dance. What the hell happened here? Exclaimed, checking the copying and looking for wounds. I made a bet with him where he would teach me some cool jutsus if I defeat him. I used a jutsu I invented to defeat him, and now he must do his part of the bet and teach me. He said with his foxy grin. What happened? Oh yes, I remember being in heaven and then, said Kakashi, waking up. Minato paled. Being in heaven? A pool of blood? It only can mean that jutsu. Naruto, can you show me that jutsu? Asked Minato, hoping to be wrong. Of course Dad. Oiro no jutsu, shouted Naruto. In a poof of smoke the kid was gone. In his place there was a nude teenage girl with whisker marks and long hair and 2 pigtails. I didn't want him to develop that stupid jutsu. Nobody will take him seriously now. Though Minato. Kakashi, at the vision of the young woman, put his hands to his covered nose and looked other way. Naruto-kun, please, release that jutsu. I can afford to lose more blood, begged Kakashi. Naruto nodded and released the jutsu. Now you must teach me a cool jutsu, Kakashi-san, said the boy happily. Kakashi nodded and took one of his books. I didn't expect you could develop such devastating technique at your age. Using my weakness against me was brilliant, said without taking off his eyes from the book. The words made Minato leave his thoughts, realizing that Naruto's jutsu had more potential than he realized. Yes, it's a good jutsu, but make sure to use it only when there are not females around or it will leave you beaten. It was also created by that future self of you and was classified as a kinjutsu like the puppy eyes no jutsu, said Minato. Can you tell me more things about my future self, too-san? Asked Naruto with stars in his eyes. Minato sighed. Perhaps another day, Naruto. There are other things of the future that you must know first. I can say that your future self was able to exploit any technique he learned with great creativity, creating new ones like the demi-bunshins, told Minato. Demi-bunshins? Asked Naruto. Are they similar to cage bunshins? Kakashi raised his head, interested. Yes, they are similar but with many differences. Instead of creating copies of yourself dividing your chakra equally among them, you create a clone with the quantity of chakra you choose. You can choose their appearance, weight, height and sex, but always in the limits of human shape. No wings, claws or extra limbs allowed, said Minato. Naruto and Kakashi were listening now with all the attention they could. While cage bunshins have your personality and knowledge, you must decide their personality and what they know. Obviously it must be something that you already knew. It happens because they are not made dividing your soul like cage bunshins. It means that you don't get the memories of the bunshins when they are dispelled because you don't have a part of your soul coming back to you. The other types of bunshins like Mizu or Doton ones are made using elements instead of a part of your soul, so they don't have the property of giving you their memories but they have their own powers. I'll show you a demonstration, said Minato, turning his back to them so they couldn't see the hand signs he made. In a poof of smoke some women dressed like housemaids appeared and cleaned the blood that there was in the floor. Then they bowed to them and disappeared in another poof of smoke. So that means that this jutsu creates an army of servants to do whatever you want. They can do for me the homework from the academy and the chores of the house. Teach me, begged Naruto. Sorry Naruto, but this jutsu also requires more chakra control than the cage bunshin. As soon as you are able to perform the Rasengan, I'll teach it to you. However, because you won't get the memories of the bunshin, you'll be forbidden to use it for doing your homework. You'll have to do it yourself or one of your cage bunshins, said Minato. Naruto nodded, slightly disgusted. Meanwhile Kakashi's mind was rushing with perverted thoughts of what he could do with that jutsu. Can you teach it to me, sensei? Asked Kakashi, trying to perform the puppy eyes no jutsu. No, that jutsu was created by the Naruto I met in the future, responded Minato, slightly scared by Kakashi's looks. Using that technique, as soon as Naruto learns it, he will be the one who will choose who will know it. Naruto, said Kakashi, if you teach me this jutsu as soon as you learn it, I will teach you an awesome jutsu that will surpass the one I already promised you. It's a deal, Kakashi-san, but it must be a really cool jutsu, said Naruto seriously with his foxy grin. Minato already knew the use that Kakashi was thinking for the jutsu, when I realized something. Naruto, how did you created the Oiroke no Jutsu? Asked Minato. Kakashi paled. I was bored, so I asked Kakashi-san something to do and he gave me these mangas. Then I had the idea for the jutsu and challenged Kakashi, explained Naruto proudly. Naruto, go back home, I'll catch you when I finish teaching my student the sort of things that kids your age should read, said Minato, cracking his knuckles, heading to the scared Jonin. Okay dad, see you soon Kakashi-san, said Naruto, leaving the house, oblivious to what was going to happen. Kakashi's screams were heard in all Konoha. Next afternoon, Ino arrived at the Colosseum, surprised to see it filled by people wanting to see Naruto's father. The doob was missing for an entire week since the rumors of his father coming back start. The rumors said that the man was able to fly, kill with a sight, and that he killed an Anbu and a council member only because they pissed him off. She saw Sakura waving at her. Hey blonde pig, over there you can find free seats, said the pink-haired girl. There's no need to shout, that huge forehead of yours is visible in all the place, responded Ino. By the way Porker, your father is a member of the council. Did he tell you something about Sakura? Stuck her tongue out at Ino. That Arashi guy? Asked Sakura. No, he didn't. He was too busy in a special mission to bother with politicians, said Ino proudly. The truth was that his father was with Chauza and Shikaku hanging out by the bars, so they missed the meeting, but he wouldn't tell that to Forehead. How troublesome. The only free seats are on the side of the loudest girls, said a boy with a bored expression. Munch, 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 responded a chubby boy. Shikamaru, Chouji, don't sit here, one of the seats is for Sasuke-kun, told Sakura and Ino in unison. Shikamaru signed at the seats of the VIPs where the girls could see their precious Sasuke-kun being bothered by Naruto. They could see also Hyuga Hinata being seated in the other side of Naruto with a blush and twitching her fingers. Uchiha is on the seat reserved for his clan, that casually is on the side of the one that was assigned to Naruto's clan, said Shikamaru. Wait! Those seats are for the people of Konoha's major clans. Why the hell Naruto has one? Said an indignant Sakura. It looks like there's a major bloodline in his clan, so his father received automatically a seat in the council. Now the show is to test his skill level to determine his ninja rank, said Shikamaru. It will be a miracle if he pass from Genin, said Sakura. I bet the Sasuke can defeat him, said inner Sakura. I wouldn't do those speculations. Our parents had an A-class mission with him where he saved their lives at the cost of receiving a kunai in the eye. It was in the times his name was Arashi Kazama, said Shikamaru. Kazama? My father told me that this guy killed an entire squadron of missing nuns to save them, said Ino with a newfound respect in the voice. It's curious, men don't used to take their wife's family name when they marry. The doors of the arena opened. A lone figure with a black cloak got into the center of the stadium. That's Naruto's dad, said Ino in disbelief. How can him be a relative of that mysterious and cool guy? You can't see his face, said Sakura. Sasuke-kun is more hot than him. But this guy is hot too, said inner Sakura. The crowds were having similar conversations when the Hokage spoke. Arashi Uzumaki, you have been called here to show your skill, so I, the Hokage in the Council of Konoha, will decide the place you'll have among our ninja ranks. The Hokage showed 3 boxes to the crowd. We have 3 boxes with tickets on them. The first one will decide how many matches you'll have, the second one the number of opponents you'll have to face, the third one the rank of your opponents. Based in this last one, your opponent's name will be decided randomly as soon as we know their ranks. You don't have to defeat them all, you only have to show us your skill and how you deal with the problems you are going to face, said the Hokage. Shikuhara got into the arena. Cough, I will be the proctor of the match. You are forbidden to kill your adversaries. Same goes for them. Cough, I also can determine if a match is finished. Cough, right? Arashi nodded. I'm ready. How many matches do I have to cope? Hokage-sama. The Hokage introduced his hand in the first box and took off a ticket. You'll have 5 matches. Let's see. 4 opponents in the first match. Genin rank. Minato smiled to himself. Random matches? It will be easier than he thought. He didn't pay attention to the names of his opponents when they were called to fight. The Genins didn't take it well. Don't dare to underestimate us, you rank less shinobi. We will show you to respect your superiors, said one of them. The remind of his non-existing rank status pissed him off. So he decided to do some overkill over these brats. With the hand sign they were surrounded by 40 clones, and before they realized it they were under a rain of Kane. 2 seconds later the last of the genins fell to the ground with bruises over all his body. Fell grateful for me using blunt Kane for you, responded Arashi. He is good, said one of the judges. None of those Kane made hit in a vital spot and he was able to create a large number of clones without effort. Winner, Arashi Uzumaki, cough, said Hate. The crowd was speechless, they didn't expect such a sword match. Second match, one opponent, Jonin rank, Hate Kakashi enter the arena. Please, said the Hokage. People started to whisper and bets were made. It was an exceptional event to see Hate Kakashi, the copycat ninja, son of the White Fang and student of the Yellow Flash, fighting outside missions, and against the father of the Kawaii boy. Said ninja got into slowly, with one of his arms in a sling and using a crutch for his bandaged leg. Harite-san, I'm sorry but I am not in condition to fight, I must forfeit the match, said Kakashi. Kakashi-san, can you explain us what happened to you? Asked the Hokage concerned. Yesterday I had a sparring match and my opponent overdid a little, said Kakashi looking at Arashi. Arashi was looking to other side whistling with a little halo over his head. Before the Hokage could say anything, somebody shouted dynamic entry. The doors of the arena were blown and figure wearing a green jumpsuit made his appearance. Minato guy, the beautiful green beast of Konoha, challenged you, Arashi Uzumaki, in the place of my eternal rival. Next time, Arashi vs Guy. OMAKE, the re-encounter of Minato and Kakashi. Sarutobi was laughing like an evil genius hugging the books that Minato brought from the future while his poor successor was hugging his son, scared for the Hokage's reaction when a figure crashed against the window, breaking it. The figure had a blank eye while the other one was covered by his Hittite. Itcha, 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 ICHA, said Kakashi looking to the books that the Hokage had, ignoring Minato. No, they are mine. As your leader I order you to leave me with my books, said the Hokage holding them closer. But the books are mine, I never told him that I was going to give them to him. Though Minato, Kakashi and the Hokage started a fight in the office, surprisingly without breaking anything. That's enough. Kakio's no jutsu, shouted the Hokage, slamming his hand on the floor. In a poof of smoke a human-sized ape appeared. Enma, help me beat the crap of that fool who dares to steal my books, ordered Sarutobi. Again? You always do this crap whenever a new book of that pervert is on sale, said the furious Monkey King. He grabbed Sarutobi and Kakashi by the throat and made them look him in the eyes. Okay, this is not the first time this happens. You know what we must do? Now each of you will take one of the books and will read it for calming down, then you will apologize to each other, is that okay? Said Enma. Sarutobi and Kakashi nodded and started to read. In a few minutes they were giggling and blushing with perverted smiles. Minato couldn't stand the sight of the Sandaime with the same as his sensei. Looking at the Sandaime expression, now I know why Kakashi wears the mask, whispered Minato. Yeah, it's embarrassing, said Enma. By the way, who are you? I'm Kakashi sensei. I didn't expect him to feel the presence of the books I brought. What? You are the one that turned that ninja into a pervert and the one who brought that crap, said the ape, furious. Before Minato noticed he was being grabbed by the ankles, then Crazy Monkey started to slam him repeatedly to the floor. Ouch. I didn't turn Kakashi into a pervert. And I didn't know that he would come here. YOWWW. Kakashi, help me. The son of the White Fang was too busy with the book to notice his resurrected sensei and continued with his reading. An hour late, Emma was satisfied with his work and left the room in a poof of smoke. A bruised Minato headed to Kakashi. Why the hell you didn't help me, Kakashi? And why you didn't wonder why I'm here, said an indignant Minato. Kakashi raised his head. Sensei, it's good to see you again. You should explain me why you are not deaf. By the way, were you saying something? Said Kakashi. Then he continued reading his book. Although Naruto's attitude was more similar to his mother's, he inherited the part of Minato's personality that hated him being ignored. Before Kakashi noticed he was being grabbed by the ankles by his sensei while a clone grabbed him by the wrists. Now I'll show you some of the tricks that monkey taught me. Minato looked scared at the newcomer. New. Another one new. Thought. Flashback. Minato was planning a new team strategy for their next battle when dynamic entry. Minato barely dodged the kick. He looked annoyed at the perpetrator. Before him was a man dressed with a green spandex suit, a jonin vest, a Konoha forehead protector as a belt and the most tacky leg warmers he had ever seen. The man himself had a strange bowl-like haircut, a weird smile, his teeth were brighting anime style, a ridicule goatee, and the scariest eyebrows he had ever seen. They looked like hairy worms. "Who the hell are you? And why the hell you attack me?" asked the Hokage. "My apologies Hokage Sama. My name is Mato Goi, and I'm the father and master of Mato Gai, the rival of your star pupil, Hatake Kakashi. I only tried to see if you could have a sparring match with me to honor the youthful rivalry of our students in this place of eternal youthfulness," said the man. Okay, let's see how powerful you are," responded Minato. "Yes, I felt that this is going to be the beginning of another youthful rivalry like I have already had with Sakumo." Minato was starting to regret accepting the sparring offer. Meanwhile, Hatake Sakumo, who saw the scene, was giving thanks to all deities for bringing him somebody else for being bothered by Goi. It was not like he hated the man, in fact he was his best friend and an invaluable ally, but sometimes he could be very annoying. He felt sorry for Kakashi in the case of Goi's son being like him. And flashback. "Who's that guy? He's weird," asked Naruto. "He is Mato Gai, Konoha's top specialist in the Gauken. In fact he is the only man able to face a Hyuga Jonin in a taijutsu battle with the exception of the Hokage," said a boy with sunglasses. "You are Shinobu, don't you? From that clan who uses bugs as weapons," said Naruto. "Yes, I am. Tell me Naruto-san, is it true that you have a bloodline that enhances your healing?" "Yeah, we can heal any non-mortal wound in some hours, and it doesn't left scars. It also does more things that I don't remember," said Naruto proudly. "And Naruto-kun has his own blood limit? Perhaps I could use it for a approach him, having something in common with him," thought Hinata. "Yes, she stutters even in her thoughts. The perfect blood limit for a loser. You can receive beatings with more frequency," said Sasuke. "Shut up Tem. Now that I'm receiving my clan's special training from my father I can beat you easily," responded Naruto. Those words had an unexpected effect in Sasuke. They told him that now the Dobe has a clan, a family, something he lost, and for add salt in the wound, Naruto's father has been training him during all last week. Naruto probably has been receiving more attention from his father last week than him from his own father during the first 8 years of his life. "Don't scrub on my face that you are no longer an orphan," shouted Sasuke. Naruto realized that Sasuke was now the only orphan in their class. He remembered how it was being the only kid without parents and how relieved he felt when he discovered that he wasn't the only orphan in class after the Uchiha massacre. Now he was seeing himself like a miserable for being relieved because one of his classmates was shared his luck. Sorry, Sasuke, I shouldn't have said that," apologized Naruto. "Forget it, I don't need your pity. Let's see how powerful is your clan," said Sasuke looking at the arena. Meanwhile in the arena, "Guy-san, you could have opened the door, now you'll have to pay for it because you didn't do it during a combat," said Hate. "It won't matter to me as long as I have a good match against someone able to fight with my eternal rival," responded Guy. The organizers, after a quick chat, came to a decision and they told the Hokage. "Very well. It was decided that because Kakashi is not in condition to fight you'll face Mato Gai," said Sarutobi to Arashi. Arashi nodded. "Okay, second match, Arashi Uzumaki vs Mato Gai, Hajime," shouted Hate. Arashi and Guy started to fight in a blur. Although they were used only taijutsu, they were displaying a level of skill and speed that didn't disappoint the crowd. I didn't know that Naruto's father was this good. I thought that he would be a taller version of Naruto, and the other guy fights even a little better than him," said Kiba to his mother. "This is nothing. They both are much stronger than they look now. They are only testing each other. The true combat didn't start yet." "My puppy," said Inuzuka-tsum to his son. Kiba blushed. "Mom, don't call me that in public. Tell me, Kuromaru was with you in that meeting of the council yesterday, didn't he? Was he able to measure Naruto's dad power?" asked Kiba. "I'll call puppy wherever I like," responded Tsum with a smile. Then her face turned more serious. "Kiba, you won't believe this, but according to Kuromaru and my own experience I think that Arashi Uzumaki is probably stronger than the Hokage. This morning I had a chat with Abaram Shibi and he thinks the same," said Tsum. "You must be joking, Mom," There's no way that the family of that loser could be so strong, said Kiba. Kiba, said Tsume in that tone that means serious business and that Kiba learned to respect. Naruto was the dead last of your class because he didn't have anybody to help him in his studies, also because those areas where he excels are not given enough importance for a genin but ironically are invaluable to the highest ranks. Kiba didn't say anything. If her sister wouldn't had helped him last year he would be the dead last instead of Naruto. There's something else about Naruto I must tell you, said Tsume gaining her son's attention. Kuromaru checked Naruto this morning without hypnotizing. I don't know what type of training has been doing with his father last week, but now he is almost as powerful as Sasuke and definitively more powerful than you. Kiba and Akamaru were looking at her like she had grown another head. You don't believe me, don't you? Said Tsume. You'll see it next month in the academy, in the parents' visit day, where the students make a display of their skills. Oh, look, Arashi is going to do something. In the arena the two contenders stopped the testing and Arashi spoke. Behold that disappearance technique, said throwing a smoke bomb to the ground. When the smoke dispelled, Arashi was not in the arena. Arashi-kun, where are you? Show off and fight. Don't use these youthful tactics. Suited guy. But this is an unusual tactic for a ninja, thought Hurried looking for Minato. Then he stared in disbelief at one of the walls. The crowd took his example and also looked in disbelief at the wall. Arashi was standing by the wall covering himself with a blanket painted to look like the wall. His hands and his feet were visible. HMMPH, is that the best that your father can do? Teased Sasuke. Shut up, Sasuke. It only has to work with his adversary like it is doing now, responded Naruto slightly embarrassed. Arashi, show yourself and fight, shouted Guy looking to all directions. Naruto was saying the truth. Guy still didn't notice Arashi. To the crowd's disbelief, how the hell he made Jonin was the main thought of the villagers. Guy, I'm here, said Arashi lowering the blanket with a sweat drop on his head. Finally you appear. Take this, Konoha-senpu, said Guy charging at super speed to an off-of-guard Arashi. As soon as Arashi was hit, he disappeared, making Guy hit the wall, breaking it and collapsing over the unprevented green beast. Arashi emerged from the crowd at the side of Hate. Well, my initial plan worked, but I didn't expect that the Bunshin had to show off, said Arashi. He used a bad hidden clone as a bait to make Guy hit the wall, making it collapse over him. Good tactic, were thinking the examiners. Before Hurried could proclaim Arashi the victor of the match, Guy emerged from the debris like a flaming and youthful phoenix. Your speed is amazing, higher than mine. I didn't expect you could dodge me in the last second. Now I know there's only one way I could defeat you, said Guy seriously. Everyone fell anime style. That idiot thinks that I dodged him, thought Arashi. Before Arashi could say anything he felt a tremendous wave of chakra coming from Guy. First gate, open, shouted Guy. He is going to open the gates to match the super speed he thinks I have, thought Minato. The fact was that as a yellow flash he was the fastest shinobi in existence, but he couldn't use the Shunshin no Jutsu or the Hiraishin without revealing his true identity. Second gate, open. The crowd was impressed by the power of Guy. Third gate, open. The doubts about Guy's rank disappeared like a dish of ramen in front of Naruto's room. Fourth gate, open, said Guy. His skin was already red and his pupils disappeared, giving him a fearful appearance. Arashi tried to reason with Guy. Guy, you don't have to force your body like this. I didn't dodge. Before he could finish, he was sent to the other side of the arena by one of Guy's punches, making him crash against another wall, disappearing in the dust. Dad, cried Naruto. I hope, that Naruto's dad would have survived, thought Hinata concerned. Her hopes were listened when Arashi emerged from the debris with only few scratches. That hurt, you know, said Arashi removing his cloak, showing his long spiky blonde hair. The female audience was literally drooling before the man's looks, and to addition of that, the hit opened fully his black jacket, exposing not only his chest but also his chocolate bar-like stomach. And Naruto-kun will turn Lee like this, thought a very red Hinata. Her classmates and young girls in general were having similar thoughts. Then Arashi emitted waves of chakra like Guy's. First gate, open. Second gate, open. Third gate, open. Fourth gate, open, shouted Arashi. However, unlike Guy, he didn't turn red. How can the Dobe's father be so powerful? Thought Sasuke with astonishment. You want to play hard, eh? Said Minato. Come on. Show me the flames of your youth. Said Arashi. Yes, finally somebody with the youthfulness to match mine. Shouted Guy happily, charging at Arashi. What came next was almost impossible to describe with words. The audience was speechless, trying to see the two blurs that the opponents have turned. In fact, it was easier to follow their movements looking at the floor that they were destroying and the tremendous sounds of the blows that the opponents were exchanging with each other. Kakashi was now in the same stand and the Hokage and the organizers watching the match with his Sharingan eye. Kakashi-san, can you see what is happening? Asked one of them. Guy is delivering more blows to Arashi. His taijutsu is slightly better than Arashi's, but his body is being damaged by the gates, while Arashi's almost doesn't suffer anything from them. If they continue like this, Guy will be defeated by his own technique. Said Kakashi, slightly concerned. Fifth gate, open. Was heard by the crowd. Guy realized that he will lost if he continues like this. Guy, you stupid, opening more than 4 gates can cripple you. Cried Kakashi. Sixth gate open. Was heard. There was no reply from Arashi. Of course. His blood limit lets him cope better with the gates, but it doesn't let him open more than 4 gates, were thinking the counselors. Suddenly the sound of the blows stopped. Haruto looked at the sky. The crow follows his example. Arashi was trapped in bandages while Guy grabbed him from behind. Both of them were falling to the ground, spinning. Omote wrench. Was heard. KRAKABOUMMMMMMMMMMMMMM. The impact was heard in all Konoha. The only that people could see in the arena was the huge cloud of dust produced by it. Naruto had his heart in a fist, restraining himself for not jumping to the arena and disqualifying his father. People were staring speechless at the arena. The only thing they could heard were the coughs of the poor Haruto trapped in the cloud. When the cloud finally disappeared, people could see the coughing Haruto and 2 figures. One of them had the upper half of his body buried in the ground. It had green legs and orange warmers. Guy. The other one was shaking off the dust from his clothes, like nothing happened. Arashi. Haruto looked at Guy and headed to the crowd. Cough, cough, winner, Arashi Uzumaki. Cough. The crowd exploded in cheers and applauses for both combatants. Yes, he won. Shout Naruto, hugging the nearest person in his happiness. That person happened to be Hinata. The poor lucky girl was speechless. And Naruto-kun is hugging me. Thought before fainting. Would you mind release my daughter, Uzumaki-san? Asked Hyuga Hayashi politely. She is not feeling very well now. Okay Hyuga-san, responded Naruto, noticing what he was doing. Do you know what happened to her? Said Naruto, concerned. Nothing serious, it comes from her mother's side, responded Hayashi. She will be okay in a few minutes. Is she sick? Why, she is not in bed. She always turns red whenever I talk to her. Said Naruto in his annoying questioning brat mode. Hayashi ignored Naruto's questions and told him to look at the arena to see what happened to Guy. So she likes him. Thought Hayashi, looking at Hinata. I'll better keep this for myself, so she won't have problems derived from that. Meanwhile Arashi and Haruto were pulling Guy's legs, unburying him, while a group of medics came to them with a stretcher. Be careful with him, there's a high chance of him having his skull damaged, warned one of them. Don't worry about that, responded Minato. His head is unbreakable. He uses a special jutsu in his hair that makes his hair harder than steel. That's the reason he has this bowl-like haircut. It works like a helmet. As a demonstration, Minato threw a shuriken to Guy's head. It bounced to everyone's surprise. Ah, my youthful opponent has figured out my little secret, said Guy, trying to get up. Yes, I created this jutsu using my family's secret hair gel recipe and combining it with this ultra cool hair dress, said Guy, waking up. Family secret hair gel recipe? Thought everyone with a sweat drop. By the way, Uzumaki-san, how did you manage to turn my own technique against me? Asked Guy, pointing at Arashi until his wrist broke. Keep yourself still, exploded one of the medics. All your body is severely damaged due to your self-destroying techniques. You'll take at least 1 week in bed. Uzumaki-san, told the Hokage, would you mind explain to the crowd how did you escape such a dangerous attack? It's very simple. I used the enhanced Karimi. It is one of my clan's jutsus. It switches my position and posture with my opponents. so it was Guy who received all the force of the impact plus the injuries derived from being the one performing that jutsu," said Arashi, putting back his cloak and hood. Then he closed his jacket, making the adult and not-so-adult women in the crowd whimper a little. The shinobis and the kunoikas who took their jobs seriously were trying to digest Arashi's words. Here there was a ninja with a jutsu that was able to turn all attacks made at him against his opponents. How to fight somebody who can make you kill yourself with the shuriken you threw at him. However, it takes insane amounts of chakra to work, so it cannot be used as often as the normal karimi, finished Arashi. Although it has that drawback, it is still a terrific jutsu, thought most of the ninjas. Wow, and my clan is the only which has such a super kick-ass jutsu, said Naruto proudly. Sasuke didn't say anything, but his mind was a storm of thoughts. The doob will be the only one learning that jutsu. Why? Other people were having more sinister thoughts. We must prevent the demon child learning that jutsu. We're thinking many of the ungrateful bastards. Uzumaki Arashi, said Guy, from now you will be my second eternal rival. May the youthfulness be with you, said while he was taking away from the arena. "Nu!" shout Arashi. "Thank you, sensei," thought Kakashi. "Now I have more time for myself." "Okay," said the Hokage, "we will give you an hour for resting and then we will proceed with the third combat." Third match, 3 opponents. His face paled a little. Jonin rank. Then his eyes took the size of dishes. "Your opponents will be Akimeki Chauza, Yamanaka Inoichi and Narashikaku." Arashi nodded, still shocked with Guy's speech. Then he sat on the ground and took a meditation posture. "Hey, my dad is now going against Shikamaru's, Choji's and Ino's parents. I expect my father won't be too harsh with them," said Naruto. "The most probable thing that will happen is that he will lost against them." "Uzumaki-san," said Hayashi. "Why? Father? Why Naruto-kun's father cannot win?" asked Hinata, who woke up a minute earlier. "Yeah, why do you think my father cannot kick their butts?" said Naruto, indignant. "Very simple. He is 1 against 3 Jonins and no ordinary Jonins. The Shika Ino-Chu team has been considered the best example of teamwork in all Konoha since the Saiyans, but not as powerful. After what was saw in the last match, I see that your father could defeat each one of them in an one-on-one combat, but he has no chance against their teamwork because they counter each other's weakness," said Hayashi. Did somebody defeated them together, father?" asked Hinata, taking a glance at Naruto without him noticing. Hayashi nodded. "Yes, the 4th Hokage was able to fight them. He was the Yellow Flash after all," responded Hayashi. "Then my father will defeat them too," said Naruto, trying not to smile. "TCHK, how the hell I will manage to defeat those 3?" thought Minato. "I can use the Shunshin without revealing myself, and the other techniques I know would kill them." Meanwhile in the crowd, "Your father will fight Naruto's porker," said Sakura. "Now you will see some high-class shinobi fighting and not that useless skills of yours." "Forehead," responded Ino. "Troublesome, now Naruto will be bothering us to fight him to avenge his father's honor," said Shikamaru. "But if my suspicions about him are true, then our parents will be in a true trouble," thought Shikamaru. Munch, munch, munch. Choji was too busy with his chips to talk. The hour passed. "Narashikaku, Akimeki Chauza and Yamanaka Inoichi, please step to the arena," said the Hokage. Nothing happened. People started to lost patience. "Yamato," said the Hokage. "Yes, Hokage-sama?" said the Anbu, materializing behind him. "Form a team and look after those 3, you know where to find them." "Hi, Hokage-sama," responded Yamato, disappearing. 10 minutes later Yamato and his men appeared in the arena dragging the trio. "We found them in the usual sake bar, Hokage-sama," said Yamato. The crowd laughed while Shikamaru, Choji and Ino were trying to hide the embarrassment they got from their fathers. "Good to see you again, Kazama-san, or I should say Uzumaki-san," greeted Shikaku. Arashi didn't say anything. "Hey, we know you must be upset with us for make you wait, but at least you should say hello," said Chauza. Arashi didn't respond anything. "Hey, tell something, this is no way to treat somebody who made missions with you," shout Inoichi. Harite approached Arashi, took a look at him and patted his shoulder. Cough. "Uzumaki-san, wake up, your opponents are here." Cough, said Harite. Arashi got up, yawned a little, and greeted the Jonins. "Shikaku-kun, Chauza-kun, Inoichi-kun, glad to see you again. As soon as this finish we could go to a bar to remember old times," said Arashi casually. Everyone should erupt. Okay, cough. Second match, Arashi Uzumaki vs Shikaku Nara, Chauza Akimaki and Inoichi Yamanaka, cough, Hajime. Shout hate. Chauza used his partial body expansion to grow his arms and hit Arashi. He barely dodged them. Chauza moved at an incredible speed for a man of that size. Meanwhile Shikaku and Inoichi threw shuriken and kane to distract Arashi. The masked blonde didn't have time to take a break. Whenever he tried to attack one of them, the others attacked him, obliging him to stay on defensive all time. I'll have to use it, thought Arashi. He took something from his pouch and threw it at Chauza. Apparently he didn't notice Shikaku moving to his left side. Chauza blocked it with his staff, then he paled. Sticked in his staff was a kunai with a tag. The seal of the tag activated, but instead of an explosion, Chauza was wrapped in a sticky web, leaving him immobilized. Like it's the seal of the spider's web, one of my clan's secret seals, said Arashi smiling under his mask. Then he stopped moving. Kagame no Jutsu. Success, said Shikaku. You should have keep watch to your left side, being blind in that eye after that mission. Meanwhile Inoichi was doing the seal of the Shinteshin no Jutsu while Chauza freeing himself from the web. Wait a minute, said Ino. We saw that Arashi was not blind in that eye in this fight against the green freak. Of course, said Shikamaru. Our parents were not in yesterday's meeting of the council, so they don't know about his blood limit that heals any non-mortal wound. But then, if he knew that your father was going to attack him by that side, why he left himself fall into the jutsu? Asked Chauji, interrupting his meal. I don't know. Arashi must be planning something, responded Shikamaru. Inoichi performed his jutsu, but to everyone's surprise Arashi moved at high speed, taking a small scroll from his pouch and releasing something from one of the seals. When the small cloud dissipated, Arashi was grabbing a small mouse by the tail. What it feels to be a mouse, Inoichi, said Arashi to the mouse. The poor Inoichi was too shocked to respond anything. Shikaku was shocked for his jutsu malfunctioning. Chauza was still too busy with the web to ask anything. The crowd was wondering why Arashi had a mouse sealed in a scroll. The ninjas were wondering why Shikaku's jutsu didn't work, while the ninjas who were versed in sealing were wondering how Arashi managed to seal a living animal. Well done, Dad, now you have a hostage, cheered Naruto, not noticing the blonde girl who got into the VIP seats. Naruto, shout Ino, grabbing him by the neck, tell your father to release mine. Naruto was too busy trying to breath to say anything. Ino-chan, please leave. And Naruto-kun breath, said Hinata. Meanwhile Inoichi released a jutsu and came back to his body, and Chauza finally got free from the web. Why my jutsu didn't work on you? Asked Inoichi. You know it was coming to you, don't you? Yes, responded Arashi, sealing the mouse again and taking off his hood so they could see his eyes. I saw your attack because I was not blind of my left eye. It healed the day after the mission because my blood limit. If you had come to yesterday's meeting you would have known about it. In a reproach tone. We were in a special mission, said Chauza. Yes, keeping watch of the sake bottles. Thought those ninjas who were with them yesterday. The reason your jutsu didn't work with me? Well, it never caught me. Look at my feet. Everyone looked at Arashi's feet. Then those with better sight had their jaws touching the floor. His floating. Arashi rised until his feet were a meter above the ground so everyone could see it. He can fly, was heard in the crowd. The Black Angel Eye is real. Yes, it's him. Troublesome, thought Shikamaru. So, he came back too. I must find a way to approach him, thought Shino. If I had a squad of ninjas able to do that I could conquer all elemental countries in 2 years, thought Danzu. Well done, Dad, cheered Naruto. Damn it, my jutsus won't work against him, thought Shikaku. I should tell Ino to be friendlier with Naruto, thought Inoichi. Many parents were having similar thoughts. I'm hungry, thought Chauza. Cough. What is the mouse for? Cough, asked Hate. I use it with a spoon for for interrogation. He, responded Arashi with a happy face under his mask. However, said Arashi in a more serious tone looking at the trio, it won't work against you three. You are very good trained against pain, but not against pleasure. Arashi started a set of hand signs. Prepare for anything, said Shikaku. Chauza and Inoichi took fighting stances, preparing themselves for everything. The crowd was in a trance, thirsty for seeing more new jutsus. Arashi finished his hand signs and a huge explosion of smoke happened. When the smoke dispelled, everybody had the jaw in the ground. Shikaku, Chauza and Inoichi found themselves surrounded by very beautiful women dressed with revealing outfits and giggling seductively. "My! Your scars are so sexy. You have such a manly face. And that hair. Teehee, I like big men because they have big. You know, teehee, you can use the Baka no Jutsu with any part of your body. Reet, I want this jutsu." Thought the men. Perverts. Thought the women. The poor trio was blushing, trying to contain nosebleeds when they felt an intense killer intent. 3 women appeared in the arena looking at the men with very angry faces. "Yoshino, dear, it is not what it looks," said Shikaku to his furious wife. "Inara, it is not my fault." "It is," said Inoichi to the blonde one. "Sweetie, I," said Chauza to a very beautiful and not fat brunette. "Very well," said Yoshino to her husband. "Let's go home and explain me everything," said, grabbing him strongly by the hand. "But dear, I'm in the middle of a combat," begged Shikaku. "Against those," shouted Yoshino pointing at the women. "No my love, let's go home," responded Shikaku. Similar scenes were saw with the other couples. They left the arena. "Eh, that means I won?" asked Arashi, making the women disappear. Cough. For leaving the arena, Naruto, Shikaku, Akimaki, Chauza and Yamanaka Inoichi are disqualified. Winner Uzumaki Arashi. Shout hate. This time nobody cheered. They never expected such an anticlimactic end. The judges were talking among them. He made them left arena, putting them in a compromising situation with their wives. This is the most unorthodox tactic I ever saw. How Chauza managed to have such a beauty. The Hokage regained the composture and proceed to talk. "Okay, let's see who will fight in the 4th match." "Minato, I think I must give you back this," said Sarutobi, handing Minato a big envelope. "What is this?" "Oh, I see," said Minato when he opened it. Inside the envelope there were 2 little boxes, a keyring with some keys, a hair clip and 2 smaller envelopes. Minato opened the boxes. There was a platinum ring in each of them. "Our wedding rings." He looked at the one that one day was in Kushina's finger. "I will store you for a girl who will love Naruto and he will love back." "Somewhere in Konoha." "Ahku, are you alright, Ni-chan?" asked a little girl. "Why yes, Hanabi-chan," responded a girl who obviously was her big sister. "I hope I'm not getting a cold." Back in the Hokage's office, Minato took the keyring. "Our house's keys," said Minato, putting them in his pocket. "As soon as I finish next week's test we will move there," Naruto said, looking at his son. He looked at the hair clip and his face saddened. "You took this from Kushina before her burial," said to the cage. "Yes, I thought Naruto would like to have something that belonged to his mother," responded Sarutobi. "Thank you, Sarutobi-sama, I think it will go with the ring." "Somewhere in Konoha." Ahku. This time a girl sneezed over her cousin with the misfortune of letting his perfect hair soaked with mucus. "I am so sorry and Nejinezan," said the embarrassed girl. "No, why fate hates me so much," thought the boy. Back in the Hokage's office, Minato took one of the envelopes. "The letter I wrote to Naruto before the sealing," said, taking one of the envelopes. Minato remembered that letter with pain. In it Minato explained to Naruto why he was chosen for being the Jinchuriki of the Kiwabi, why a Kage can't demand to his subordinates something he wouldn't do. It also told him how he was desired by both his parents, how they wanted to start a family. That part of the letter was blotted by the tears he couldn't contain while reading it. The worst part was the farewell, asking Naruto to look after Kushina and telling them to forgive him. "But things got worse than we expected. We lost her minutes before you lost me, my kid," thought Minato. Minato started to tear apart the letter to Sarutobi's disbelief. "What are you doing?" "This letter was for Naruto," yelled. "What I told him in that letter, now I can tell it to him personally," said Minato with a smile that faded in a second. "I'll be the one who will tell him about the burden. I don't know how to tell him. Damn, it terrifies me more than when I thought I was going to spend the rest of eternity in an eternal digestion in the stomach of the god of death." "Don't worry," said Sarutobi, putting a hand in Minato's shoulder. "Naruto is the most forgivable person I know. I bet that he won't hate you." Minato took the other envelope. "What is this?" "It's a letter." "For who?" asked Minato, puzzled. "I never dreamed that this letter would reach to one of the persons it was assigned." "Minato, this is a letter that Naruto wrote to you and Kushina," said Sarutobi smiling. What? Sarutobi started his explanation. One day Naruto came to me asking why his parents abandoned him. Suddenly all Konoha felt again the killer intent of a scorned Hokage. We didn't abandon him. Who told that? I'll chop them to pieces. It was an old lady who loved to spread false rumors. I ordered Ibiki to cut her tongue and then I asked her politely to leave Konoha and never return if she didn't want to be Emma's next meal, responded Sarutobi without losing his fatherly smile. Minato gave him thumbs up and let him continue. As I was saying, Naruto asked me why his parents abandoned him. Obviously I told that he was not abandoned, that he was an orphan whose parents died in the Kiwabi attack. Instead of feeling relieved he felt sad. Why? Interrupted Minato. Because he used to think that someday his parents would come back with him. Sarutobi smiled. Now I see Thade was right. Minato smiled back. Looking at the sleeping Naruto, Sarutobi resumed his story. Then I told him that he should write somewhere what he felt to feel better. Next day he came back with a letter he said he wrote to his parents telling what he felt about them. He asked me to take it to the other world and give it to them because I was the oldest person he knew, so I was the one with more probabilities to meet them soon. Said smiling. The two Kages laughed for a while by the kid's occurrence. So Naruto tells in this letter what he feels about Kushina and me, said Minato looking at the letter with anxiety. Sarutobi nodded. Yes, I don't know what it says, you should read as soon as you come back to Naruto's apartment, said Where does he live? Asked Minato a little concerned. He lives in Kushina's old apartment. I warn you that he cleans it as often as his mother, so expect a war zone, said Sarutobi. Minato nodded, said goodbye to the Sandaime and left to the apartment with the still sleeping Naruto. He arrived and created some clones to gather some of his belongings from the Hokage's warehouse. When he got into the house he almost expected to see Kushina greeting him. He took breath and created some demi-buncheons to clean the place while he took Naruto to his room. He changed his son into his hippo pajamas, put him in the bed. Sleep well my Naruto, tomorrow we'll have a lot of things to talk, whispered Minato to his kid, kissing his forehead. Minato then opened the envelope with the letter that was not expected to be opened. To Mom and Dad. Hi, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. Oh well, you must know it because you are my parents. I live in the village of Konoha. It's a great place to live, although it's the only place I know. I don't remember many things when I was little. I lived all my life in my apartment, with a different person looking for me each day. Much of them were polite while others were waiting to get out of the place as soon as possible, ignoring me. Sometimes I heard someone giggling and I thought I saw a guy with a strange mask reading a book, but he disappears as soon as I got near. Kakashi in his ANBU suit, obviously taking a break, thought Minato smiling. As soon as I was 6 years old nobody else came anymore for look after me. The Hokage told me that I was ready to look after myself. Then I got into the Ninja Academy. I thought it would be fun, but everybody still ignored me. I don't know why. One day I dropped a thumbtack by accident and Iruka-sensei stepped on it. He used his scary big head jutsu to warn me to don't do pranks, but everybody laughed. So I started to do pranks so everybody would stop ignoring me. Minato had a sad smile. I like ramen, the color orange and ninja stuff. I hate the 3 minutes it takes the ramen to be done and when people ignores me. Now I'm 9 years old and I'm studying to be a ninja. G-san, the Hokage told me that you both were ninja who fought with the Yondaime against the Kiwabi years ago. That guy was so cool. Everybody praises him. Some people smile at me sometimes when they talk about him while others look at me with hate. When I ask them why they are angry with me they simply left mumbling curses. I made a decision. I will become Hokage so everybody will acknowledge me. Then I won't be alone. I will have friends, even a family like the rest of people. Then the letter turned more dark. Why did you have to die? Why you both? I'm sorry, Naruto. Most evenings I don't want to go back to a home without anybody waiting for me. I hate when the parents come to take back their children home. The happy they are and the way they look at the orphan. I don't even know your faces or your names. Did you love me? Minato couldn't contain the tears. I think the answer is yes. Iruka-sensei says that those who sacrificed themselves for the village did it because they wanted to protect their loved ones. Their sacrifices are a sign of love. I don't know what happened to you. Sometimes when I'm very sad I feel like a voice encouraging me not to give up. I think it's you, Mom, Dad, whoever you are. I love you. Naruto. PD. Take a look at the back of the letter. Minato's heart melted. In the back of the letter there was a child-made drawing of a family. a blonde child with whiskers marks who was holding hands with a man and a woman who were dressed in ninja attire. The man looked like an older version of the kid with beard, while the woman was a redhead with long hair which reached the shoulders and had an orange ribbon. That night the fourth Hokage, who was known as the most powerful of all, cried for hours. "Yes, you won again, Dad!" shouted a happy Naruto, hugging the closest person to him. This time it was Sasuke. "Release me, idiot!" yelled Sasuke. "If I were a Naruto-kun, then now he would be hugging me," thought Hinata sadly. "Get off your hands of my Sasuke-kun," yelled Ino to the other blonde. "Aggh. I was hugging Sasuke," yelled Naruto, realizing what he'd done. "Hinata, Ino, please stay near me next time my dad wins," begged Naruto to the two girls. "Like hell I'll let you hug me," said Ino, leaving the VIP seats. Then, "and Naruto-kun will hug me again," thought Hinata, turning red. Meanwhile in the arena, "The truth is that I wanted them pass out from a nosebleed," thought Minato. The Hokage headed to Minato. "Arashi Uzumaki, do you want to take a rest or do we pass to the next match?" "I'm ready for the next match, Hokage-sama," responded Arashi. The Hokage proceeded to check who will be Arashi's opponents. Fourth match. 5 opponents. A and B, said the Hokage, worried. "Your opponents will be Bear, Rat, Cat, Crow and Chameleon." "Minato, you must be careful with those opponents, especially Bear," thought Sarutobi. "I'll have to fight serious against those," thought Arashi. "I'll have to use some of the techniques I wanted to hide." The 4 A and B appeared in the arena in a swirl of leaves. All of them minus Crow looked confident. Hiraishin shouted, "Fourth match, begin." "Hisashi," shouted Arashi while shooting a ray made of chakra from his palm at Rat, breaking his armor and sending him to the wall, knocking him unconscious. Everybody was speechless. "Did you like my jutsu?" taunted Arashi. "I designed it with Hisashi Hyuga years ago, but I was not able to master it until a few years. It's a pity he didn't live to see the result of our efforts, but I named it like him in his memory." Whispers and murmurs were among the crowd. "How many unknown jutsus have the Uzumakis?" Hyuga Neji was shocked. "That jutsu was designed by father? I must convince that man to teach it to me." Bear was immersed in his own thoughts. So it was true that he trained with Hisashi. "This jutsu is a chakra ray shoot at high speed and with great impact force," thought Bear, looking at the unconscious Rat. "The main weakness of the Hyugas is that we are close-range fighters, with this jutsu at our disposal." He was interrupted by Arashi's cries. "Hisashi! Hisashi! Hisashi!" shouted Arashi while shooting his rays. However, this time his opponents were ready for the attacks and they were able to dodge them by inches. The missing rays left circular holes where they hit. "Tchk, I could waste more chakra with these. And there is a big chance to hit somebody of the crowd if I miss. Neither I can try to keep close to them because there's a big chance of the ray killing or crippling them at short range," thought Arashi. His thoughts were interrupted by the elemental attacks of Cat and a reluctant Crow, while Bear attacked with kunai and shurikens with an aim that only the owner of a daijutsu could have. The stadium was overwhelmed by the explosions. The place where Arashi was became a huge hole in the arena. "Oops, we overdid a little," said Cat with his behind his neck. "It couldn't affect him. He must be somewhere," shouted Crow, keeping on guard. Hiraishin looked at the sky. Everybody followed his example. Arashi was floating with some clones, writing something in tags. Crow noticed that he was charging them with huge amounts of chakra. "He is creating explosive tags. We can't let him finish them," shouted Bear. They attacked him with shurikens, kunai and elemental attacks. Arashi created a barrage of clones to block them. When the smoke disappeared, only remained one Arashi floating in the sky with kunai equipped with explosive tags. "Feel the wrath of my improved explosive tags," said Arashi. Arashi bombed the A and B wisely, not trying to them, so they were able to dodge them all. However, the explosions had double the power of the normal explosive tags, making it very hard to them to dodge all. Soon the arena looked like a devastated battlefield. The A and B started a counterattack with their own range attacks. Unfortunately for Arashi, he didn't have the same maneuverability flying that he had in land, so he had really trouble avoiding all the attacks. Then some of the shurikens he dodged almost hit a kid of the crowd. Luckily for the kid, Asuma blocked them. Minato landed in the arena, realizing that the aerial combat was a risk for the public. "Why he landed?" asked Chouji. "He was dominating them with that tactic." Munch. He realized that the missing attacks at him would hit the crowd. As a ninja of Konoha he can't risk the lives of its inhabitants, responded Shikamaru. You love the village and its people more than you think, Minato, thought Sarutobi happily. Amazing, he was able to improvise explosive tags in the middle of a battle, and those tags doubled the power of the usual ones. Only seal masters can do that. Why we didn't know of that ninja before? Thought one of the judges. Naruto, watch this. One of the jutsus that your future self created, thought Minato looking at his son. Arashi made the hand seal of the cage Benshin. An explosion of smoke followed. When it cleared there stood Minato alone. Ha, 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 he failed. Mocked Cat pointing with the finger. Then he stopped laughing, keeping Freeze in the position. I can't move, someone is grabbing me, yelled Hisashi. Shouted Arashi again, hitting Cat and making his suffer the same destiny as Rat. Bear looked surprised, then he gave a kick to the ground sending a wave at sand to Crow. But surprisingly it didn't hit Crow. The sand covered some figures which looked like Arashi. He is using invisible clones, said Bear. He used then for immobilize Cat and hit him. Futen clones, said Arashi, dispelling them. Being made of air makes them invisible and they don't leave traces. They have the drawback that they require insane amounts of chakra even for a jonin. Only your kind can see them, don't you? Hiwaga. Bear took the Jiken fighting stance. Then there's no need to hide my true power, said Bear. Then he looked at Crow. Crow, don't interfere with us. Crow didn't protest. Perfect, without Ibisu interference I will beat this one easily, thought Arashi with a smirk under his mask. Arashi took out 2 kane from his pouch. All ninjas paled when they saw that those kane were tree-pronged ones. Bear noticed that Arashi focused wine chakra through the kane, increasing their reach. He is using the same technique than Asuma with his knives, thought Sarutobi relieved. For a moment I thought he was going to blow his cover. Now those tree-pronged kane with extended reach and sharpness because the wind will be terrific weapons. Arashi and Bear began to fight. Bear had no choice but to fight in the defensive, avoiding Arashi's attacks because the advantage of reach. He also couldn't block if he didn't want to lose a finger. Hiwagahashi smiled. Arashi's opponent already defeated opponents who tried to use elemental enhanced weapons against him. Bear left an opening. Arashi tried to take advantage of it but it was a trap. Kaiten, shouted Bear, sending Arashi through the skies, losing the kane. It wouldn't happen to me with my knives with holes for the fingers, thought Asuma. Arashi was able to land on his feet, only to find Bear waiting for him. You are on my range of divination, said Bear. Shit, thought Arashi. People saw all the fury of the Hakuhaku Naiju Hachisu 128 points of chakra. Yes, I used a Naruto's guide to write it over the black cloak figure. 126, 127, 128. Shouted Bear, finishing his move. You are really an impressive opponent, Uzumaki-san, but as you can feel the Jiken style is invincible, said Bear with his arms crossed. I feel nothing, Hiwaga-san. However Crow was not so lucky after receiving your attack, said Arashi in the place where Crow was before. Bear was shocked noticing that he beat up his partner. I see, said Bear, regaining his composture. You used that enhanced Karimi of yours to switch place with Crow. Yes, I'll apologize to him later. Now prepare to lose. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, shouted Arashi, making his clones charge. It won't work against me, Kaiten, responded Bear, destroying the clones. However, while Bear was spinning destroying the clones, Minato flew over the Kaiten dome with a swirling sphere in his hand. He spins clockwise, like those who receive the jutsu I will use, thought Arashi. Rasengan, shouted Arashi. The flying blonde made it with his dear jutsu in the center of the dome. There was a tremendous chakra explosion for the consequence of the confronting of the two A-class jutsus, one made for attack, the other made for defense. The crowd closed their eyes as consequence of the light generated. When they were able to see again, they saw Arashi landing with some bruises. By his part, Bear was intact. People would say that he won the confront if it were not for the fact that he had almost all his body buried in the ground, only leaving the head and the shoulders out. He turned our best defense against him, using the Rasengan to make the Kaiten drill the ground harder, thought Hayashi, horrified. Why the hell is he looking at me now? Well done, Dad, you are the best, cheered Naruto, thinking that his father was looking at him. Bear was as strong as Hisashi. How strong are you, Hayashi-san? Thought Arashi, looking at the other clan leader. He headed to the trapped ANBU. This eye is imposable, babbled Bear. "You're intact? The Jigen style is really invincible." "Men not. I'll look forward our next battle Bear-san," said pinching Bear in the neck knocking him out. Arashi proceeded to unbury Bear. When he finished he noticed that something was out. "I was supposed to fight 5A and Bu, where's the 5th? Asked Arashi. "Just waiting of yourself being tired enough to fall in my trap Uzumaki-san," said Shyamalan materializing before him. "You abandoned your partners?" asked Arashi. "First, they are not my partners," responded Shyamalan. "Second, you already fell into my genjutsu, prepare to revive your worst memories." "What the new?" cried Arashi. The last thing he saw before entering the nightmare were the Sharingan eyes that the ANBU had behind his mask. "Sorry if you don't like cliffhangers. See you next week." "Oh make, Iruka, the teacher's way." This happens 4 days after Minato's return. Minato have told Sarutobi more things about the future. Umino Iruka left the Hokage's building after the talk the Sandaime gave to Tsuki, the Jonin Hate Kakashi, to ANBU and himself. He still couldn't believe the story of the resurrected Yondaime, not only coming back from death but also from the future. The two ANBU didn't tell anything but it was obvious that they were shocked, especially that one who called himself Yamato when the Sandaime told that the Yondaime met the Shodaime in the other world. Tsuki asked for an aspirin. Kakashi tried to strangle the Hokage for not telling him that Naruto was his sensei's son. He said that now he couldn't look at his sensei's eyes without feeling like a traitor for not taking care of Naruto. Iruka had to help the ANBU keeping the copy nin in place. The Sandaime explained him that he had to keep Naruto's true heritage hidden for his own security. If he had told Kakashi that Naruto was Minato's son he would have asked for his custody and Minato's enemies would have suspected of a teenager taking care of a boy who looked like his deceased sensei. Sarutobi also reminded Kakashi that he was assigned to watch secretly for Naruto in his first years, so he never betrayed his sensei. Kakashi was finally convinced when the Hokage promised him that he will lend him the proofs from the future that the Yondaime brought. Crow didn't seem totally convinced and asked for one of the books for check in private if it really came from the future. Closet pervert. Iruka was relieved to know that things would go better for Naruto until the Sandaime told them about Sasuke's defection to Orochimaru and the group of S-class criminals going after the Kawabe. The Chunin headed to the place where he was told that the Yondaime was training Naruto. What he saw left him speechless. In one place there was a group consisting of dozens of Naruto's clones, solid clones, doing the tree walking exercise with success. In other place there was another group of clones trying to do the water walking exercise. They almost had the exercise mastered. He also saw a group of Narutos studying diligently the same book. The pages of that book were divided among the clones. There was a group of clones who were throwing weapons to another group with clones who were trying to avoid the weapons. Finally there was a group of clones who were fighting with taijutsu among themselves, trying to dodge instead of blocking like Naruto usually did. He also noticed that each clone had a better fighting style than Naruto. "What do you want Iruka-san?" asked Minato, appearing behind Iruka. "Came to check my son's progress?" "And Namikaze-sama," responded Iruka surprised. I didn't want to spy you. I'm only concerned for Naruto." "I know," said Minato. "As you can see Naruto is receiving a special training using the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu." But how can Naruto use that jutsu? I thought it was only for Jonin. And how can he perform that exercises? It's a story that probably you won't like," said Minato. "Perhaps you don't know that Naruto's capacity." Minato gave Iruka the same talk he gave Naruto when they started his special training, knowing that Iruka won't take it very well, but he didn't expect what happened next. Iruka took off his Chunin vest and Kanaya forehead protector and kneeled before Minato. "Hokage-sama, forgive me. As Naruto's teacher I should have noticed that he had more chakra than most ninjas and gave him the suitable training he needed. In my foolishness I gave him the same treatment as the other students, and because that he became the dead last when he should have been the most promising student. Now everybody thinks that he is a failure and laughs when he talks about his dream of being Hokage. I'll go to the Hokage and give him my resignation as teacher and as ninja," said in the verge of tears. "Stop whining," shouted Minato. "You're a good teacher. One of the best that Kanaya's academy would never have. Good teachers give the same treatment to all his students. They don't play favorites. Good teachers love their duty and want to do the best for their students. Look at you, you are ready to resign because you think you are a bad teacher. The fault is in the academy teaching methods, not in the students or the teachers. If those methods focused more in chakra control and if the students received periodic chakra level checks, nothing of this would have happened. Now put back your vest and hitate, ordered the Yondaime. Iruka obeyed, and regained the composture. However, I still felt guilty for what happened. If I were a better ninja I would have noticed it earlier, said Iruka sadly. A light turned on in Minato's head. Then you should train and get enough skill and power to become a jonin, said Minato. With a jonin in the academy, the students will have the best preparation for their future ninja careers. Not only that, but also they'll have a better protection in case of emergency. Yes, it's a fantastic idea. Minato then looked seriously at the teacher. Iruka, I'm disposed to give you a special training to make you worthy of the jonin. It will be very painful and there's a great chance of dying, but you'll be able to become jonin in a few months. Do you accept? Said Minato. Iruka was too shocked to say anything. The Yondaime Hokage praised him and now was offering him a special training. I accept Hokage, same, it is a honor. Babbled. Good, said Minato, hitting an evil smile. Meet me after your class in the dango stand near the Forest of Death. You should go home to rest, you'll need it. Now I must continue supervising Naruto's training. Iruka bowed and went home, asking himself what kind of training the Hokage had for him. Next morning Iruka met Minato in the appointed place. Okay Iruka, the first part of your training will take a few weeks. You'll improve your speed, dodging ability, your stamina, your reflexes and your pain resistance, said Minato. Iruka nodded. Yes sensei, I'm ready. You have to do this, said Minato, starting his explanation. With Minato's explanation Iruka's face turned from serious to confused and finally to horrified. Sensei, I can do this. Are you sure this is a true training? Complained Iruka. What? You don't believe me? Exploded Minato, pretending to be upset, terrifying the poor Chunin. The Hokage used that training, Jiraiya used that training, Jiraiya made me use that training, and you are going to use that training now. Why yes, sensei, said Iruka, heading to the dango stand, specifically to a certain kunoichi. The customers of the stand watched astonished. Iruka, the most well-behaved Chunin of all Konoha, pinching Might Arashi Anko's butt. If it was not enough, he told this. You know, baby, that is the most sexy ass in all Konoha, said Iruka with a forced smile. You know, future corpse, this is the most sharp kunai in all the world, said Anko without a smile. In the next hours, while Iruka tried to survive, improving his speed, dodging ability, stamina, reflexes and pain resistance, a part of him thought that perhaps resigning his job was not a very bad idea. However, if he survived this session and the next ones, he would be a jonin in no time. Another part of him thought that his involuntary instructor really had a good ass. That's the end guys. If you enjoyed, then like, subscribe and leave a comment down below. This is Maelstrom signing off.